Hey guys, Sean here from Go Big Bore or Go Home. As you know, I've been testing Aria Ballistic Engineering ammunition, and I mentioned in our first video about it where I was just kind of looking at the different ammo that I noticed a lot less muzzle blast when I was shooting it. So I got some slow-mo. It was a little tough to edit because for some reason the sound in the picture got off, so I do apologize if it's not perfect, but I got it close enough and pretty solid that I can actually release it with confidence. But I wanted you guys to see what I'm talking about. You'll see some of the recoil that I dealt with in the 460, in the 500 JRH, and in the 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum, where we had the recoil that was quite stout, but the muzzle flash was far reduced. And for those of you who have seen the video that I did with the 460 Smith & Wesson Magnum's muzzle flash, compare the two and you'll see there's a big difference. So before we get started with that though, I did want to share something interesting I found out. Apparently my dentist is among our viewers. So yeah, sorry doc if you're watching, I'm trying to floss more, but you'll be happy to know I did get an electric toothbrush, so trying to do better with that. Anyway, on with the video. Hope you enjoy it.
Before we get into the fun stuff, let's take a look at the accuracy I was able to achieve with the Aria Ballistic Engineering ammunition. For everything but the 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum loads, I was at 11 yards at my range, standing, with no rest. So let's take a look at what we have here. The first round is the 460 Smith & Wesson Magnum 221 grain shock hammer that came in at 1873 feet per second. Please remember, guys, that I'm not a marksman and I'm also limited on ammunition, so there are times where I just have 4 shots in a group. This is one of them. The 4-shot group was 2 7/8 inches, which was definitely not bad. The next round was a 350 grain Hawk flat point that was going 1,554 feet per second according to my chronograph, also the 460 Smith & Wesson Magnum chambering. I got a 4-shot group here of also 2 7/8 inches. And the final 460 Smith & Wesson Magnum round that I tested, of course, was the 420 grain hardcast long flat nose gas check that was chronographed at 1495, so 1,495 feet per second. This one I was able to get a 5-shot group, and it was about 5 11/16, including that one wild shot that went low. If you remove that, it was 3 7/8 inch if you adjust it. So on the 500 JRH, I had more ammunition to test, so I was able to do 3 total groups to get an average. And on my first group, which is in the middle here, you can see is only 4 shots because one shot was very low. It was my first shot. I was able to adjust after that. This first group was 2 3/16 inches, whereas the second group was 2 1/16 inch. And the final group had this one low flyer, as you can see here. I kind of marked it with my thumb so that I could give you guys as accurate an estimation as I could. I didn't have a ruler with me at the range. So as you can see here, the final group was 2 3/16 inches. The average grouping for the 3 was 2 1/8 of an inch. Not bad at all. Okay, so looking at the 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum target, I was at 25 yards from a rest as the handgun is scoped. Again, guys, I'm just being honest, I'm not a marksman, so this was just me shooting from the rest. I had a lot more of the 515 grain jacketed flat point Hawk bullets than I did of the 600 grain hardcast, so I did 3 groups with that and 1 group with the 600 grain. With the 515 grain Hawk flat point going 1,640 feet per second according to my chronograph, I had a wild shot on this group, which you can see I'm again using my thumb to estimate, which gave me a group of 4 11/16 inches. My second group actually had 2 shots off paper, so again, I'm doing an estimate here and also doing an estimate here so that I can give you guys hopefully the best grouping measurement, which came out to be 5 inches. The final group was all on paper. You can see the 5 shots here, and it was 4 1/16 of an inch. The average for the 3 was 4 5/16 inches. I have no doubt that marksmen and more experienced shooters who are hunters could make a better group, but I will say that this is a pretty confident group if you're hunting. And the final load tested that day was the 600 grain 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum wide flat nose gas check at 1,517 feet per second, which easily was the most recoil I dealt with, but I actually got a good group of 3 7/16 of an inch. Definitely an accurate load I would take hunting if I was using that caliber.
Morning, shooters. 5-minute warning.
Wow.